In 2018, Logan Paul was the most hated creator on the internet. Not disliked, not controversial, genuinely despised. Brands were cutting ties with him. YouTube was distancing itself from him publicly. Millions of people were actively calling for his career to be over. And the crazy part? Most of them were probably right, because the thing he did, the thing that started all of it, was the kind of mistake that creators simply do not come back from. The internet doesn't forgive that. It doesn't forget it either. And yet somehow, Logan Paul came back, not just as a YouTuber trying to quietly rebuild his subscriber count. He came back as a boxer, as a WWE superstar, as the co-founder of one of the fastest-growing beverage brands in history. The same person the entire internet agreed was finished, built something bigger after the fall than he ever had before it. So how does that actually happen? How does someone go from being the internet's most hated creator to standing on top of an entirely different mountain? That's the story we're telling today. To understand how dramatic the fall was, you first have to understand how high Logan Paul had actually climbed. And most people who weren't around for it genuinely don't get it. They know Logan as the boxer, or the prime guy, or the WWE personality. But before any of that, Logan Paul was one of the biggest names on the entire internet. We're talking top of the food chain. And it started, like a lot of Gen Z fame stories, on Vine. Logan was one of those creators who just understood the format immediately. 6 seconds, high energy, face always on camera, built for short attention spans. He was funny in that chaotic, almost reckless kind of way that the platform rewarded. And when Vine started dying, Logan did something most Viners couldn't pull off. He actually made the jump to YouTube. And he didn't just survive the transition, he dominated it. The daily vlog format was what really put him on the map. Every single day, a new video. His life turned into a show. And the show was loud, expensive looking, and completely addictive for a certain demographic. We're talking millions of subscribers growing by the month. We're talking merchandise lines that were moving serious units, sponsorship deals, a fan base, the Logang, that was fiercely loyal in the way only teenage fans can be. By 2017, Logan Paul wasn't just a YouTuber. He was a phenomenon, the kind of creator that other creators watched and tried to reverse engineer. And he knew it. Everything about his content said, "I am winning, and I am not going to stop." He had the house in Los Angeles. He had the team around him. He had the energy of someone who genuinely believed nothing could touch him. And then came Japan. December 2017, Logan and his crew traveled to Japan. And the trip is being documented for his channel the way all his content was. At some point, they visit Aokigahara Forest. If you don't know what that place is, Aokigahara is a forest at the base of Mount Fuji that has a deeply tragic history. It is not a tourist destination in the traditional sense. Logan filmed there, and what he captured, and what he chose to upload to his channel, with millions of subscribers, many of them kids, immediately set off one of the biggest controversies in YouTube history. The backlash wasn't slow, it wasn't quiet, it was immediate, and it was massive. News outlets picked it up within hours. The story spread globally. Every major platform was covering it. Other creators were responding to it. And the public reaction was not complicated. People were furious. Within days, YouTube took action. They suspended projects Logan was involved in and removed him from their preferred advertising programs. The sponsors that had been lined up? Gone. The mainstream media that had been cautiously warming up to creator culture? They used this moment to frame the entire space as irresponsible, and Logan Paul's name was at the center of every single one of those conversations. The video got taken down, an apology went up, and then another apology. But the internet had already made up its mind. Logan Paul's career, people were saying, was over. Here's the thing about the internet. It is ruthless in the moment and relentless with momentum. When public opinion turns on someone at that scale, it doesn't just slow them down, it buries them. And for a period of time in early 2018, Logan Paul genuinely looked buried. His reputation was gone, not damaged, gone. The trust that he'd built with his audience over years of daily content had been wiped out in a single upload. The brands that had attached themselves to him were not just pausing, they were publicly distancing, because being associated with him had become a liability. YouTube creators who had respected him, or at least stayed neutral, were now piling on. The comment sections were brutal. The memes weren't funny, they were vicious. And the mainstream coverage wasn't slowing down either. Every few days, a new outlet would revisit the story. Every new controversy in the creator space would reference Logan Paul as the example of everything wrong with influencer culture. He had become shorthand for irresponsibility, for ego without accountability, for the kind of fame that corrupts. And underneath all of that public noise, Logan Paul was facing something that is genuinely hard to articulate, unless you've experienced something similar. His entire identity had been built around winning on the internet, being the guy everyone watched, being the one with the momentum. And now, for the first time, he wasn't winning anything. He was just absorbing the hits, and there was nothing in his playbook for that, because nothing in his playbook had prepared him for losing. What Logan did next is the part that most people got wrong at the time, because when you're a creator who just burned down your reputation, the obvious move is to try and rebuild it on the same platform, in the same way, targeting the same audience. You post more content, you do more apologies, you do a comeback vlog, you try to convince people to like you again. Logan didn't do that, or at least not exactly. What he did was something quieter and, in hindsight, a lot smarter. He shifted the conversation completely. He didn't try to get people to forgive him on YouTube. He gave people something entirely different to talk about, and that something was boxing. Now, Logan boxing wasn't randomly chosen. There was a rivalry already bubbling between Logan and KSI, the British YouTuber with a massive audience of his own. The two had been trading shots online. There was genuine tension there, or at least the performance of genuine tension, which in the creator economy is basically the same thing, and Logan leaned into it. The fight got announced, it got built up, and suddenly all of that energy that had been pointed at Logan Paul in the worst possible way had somewhere new to go. People who hated him wanted to see him lose, people who still supported him wanted to see him win, and people who had no strong opinion either way were curious enough to pay attention. That is the genius of it when you look back. Logan didn't need everyone to like him. He just needed everyone to have a reason to watch. The first fight between Logan Paul and KSI happened in 2018. It ended in a split draw, and the numbers that came out of it were staggering, reportedly around 1.3 million pay-per-view buys. For a fight between two YouTubers, that number made people in traditional sports and entertainment stop and pay attention. And more importantly, it changed how people talked about Logan Paul. Because before the fight, the conversation was about Japan. After the fight, the conversation was about boxing. Logan had replaced the narrative, not erased it. You can't erase something like that, but replaced it. The internet can only hold so many stories at once, and Logan had just handed it a new one. The rematch came in 2019. This time, KSI won by split decision. It wasn't a dominant finish. It was close enough that both sides claimed their guy got robbed. But here's the thing, Logan didn't need to win the fight to win the narrative. He had already done what he needed to do. He'd shown up twice on one of the biggest stages creator culture had ever built and competed for real. People respected that, even people who couldn't stand him. Because boxing, as significant as it was just the first move. What came next was WWE. Now, here's where you might expect to hear that he showed up, did a couple of appearances, got his paycheck, and left. That's what most celebrity wrestling crossovers look like. A moment, not a chapter. But Logan didn't treat it like a moment. He put in the work in a way that surprised people, including people inside the industry. He learned the craft. He got genuinely good at it. And the audience noticed. People who had written him off, people who had no interest in giving him another chance, started showing respect. Not affection necessarily, but respect. And in the world of public reputation, respect is the thing that comes before trust. Logan Paul had found a second arena, literally and figuratively, where he could compete and be taken seriously. And that changed the perception of who he was. He wasn't just the guy from that video anymore. He was a guy with actual range, a guy who could cross over into different worlds and not embarrass himself. That matters more than people realize, because perception is everything in the creator economy. Once people updated their mental image of Logan Paul, once the thing they thought of first wasn't the controversy but the boxer or the wrestler, the ground shifted under him. Slowly, but it shifted. But here is where the story gets genuinely interesting. Because everything we've talked about so far, the boxing, the WWE, the reputation rebuild, that's all impressive. But it's not the thing that made Logan Paul's comeback historic. The thing that made it historic is Prime. In January 2022, Logan Paul and KSI, the two rivals whose rivalry had defined an era of creator beef, announced they were launching a drink together, a hydration and energy drink called Prime. And the internet's first reaction was pretty predictable. Another influencer product, another cash grab, a collab designed to squeeze money out of two fan bases. People had seen this playbook before and weren't impressed. But something different happened with Prime. The launch wasn't just big, it was historic by any metric you want to use. Stores were selling out within hours. The secondary market for Prime bottles went absurd. Kids were trading them like they were rare sneakers. By 2023, Prime was generating approximately $1.2 billion in annual sales. $1 billion from a drink that didn't exist 2 years earlier, from two YouTubers who, not long ago, the internet was convinced should never be trusted again. And people kept asking the same question. Why did Prime work when so many influencer products don't? The answer is layered, but the core of it is actually simple. Prime didn't sell a drink. It sold a story. Think about what that story was. Two of the biggest rivals in internet history. Guys who had millions of fans on opposite sides of a genuine beef, who had fought each other in front of over 1 million pay-per-view buyers, decided to become business partners. That is a compelling narrative. It's the kind of thing people talk about because it's surprising, and it's entertaining, and it makes you feel something. Fans weren't just buying a hydration drink. They were buying into the resolution of a story they had been following for years. They were participating in the plot. And when customers feel like they're part of the story, they don't just buy once, they become advocates. They talk about it, they post about it, they bring other people in. That is how Prime scaled the way it did, not through traditional marketing, through story. So by the mid-2020s, where does Logan Paul actually stand? Let's be real about it, because the story isn't a clean redemption arc, it never was. The rebuilt audience, the boxing career, the WWE run, Prime, those are real, and they are impressive by any honest measure. But Logan Paul's story doesn't wrap up with a bow, because in between all of this, there was CryptoZoo. If you're not familiar, CryptoZoo was a blockchain gaming project that Logan promoted heavily. The pitch was that you could buy crypto eggs, hatch them into NFT animals, and use those animals to earn a token. It blew up during the NFT boom. A lot of people bought in, and then the project essentially collapsed. It didn't deliver what people expected. Investigations started. Legal disputes followed. The criticism was intense. People weren't just disappointed. They were accusing Logan of outright fraud. He eventually launched a buyback program worth reportedly around $2.3 million for eligible holders, acknowledging the failure. But the damage to his reputation, that reputation he had worked so hard to rebuild, took real hits again. And that's important to sit with, because the narrative of Logan Paul's comeback is not a story about transformation in the clean Hollywood sense. It's not a story about a guy who hit rock bottom, found his soul, and emerged as a better person. It's more complicated than that. It's a story about someone who is genuinely skilled at survival, at reading the landscape and finding new angles, at keeping himself relevant even when, maybe especially when, the world is trying to move on without him. Which brings us to the question that this whole story keeps circling back to. Has Logan Paul actually changed? Or has he just gotten better at reinventing himself? And I want to be honest with you, I don't think there's a clean answer to that. Because change and reinvention aren't always the same thing. You can change the game you're playing without changing the way you play it. You can replace controversy with achievement and still be driven by the same things that caused the controversy in the first place. Or you can go through something genuinely humbling, lose something that mattered to you, and come out the other side with a different understanding of what you want and what you're willing to do for it. Both of those things are possible. Both might even be true at the same time. What is undeniable is this: very few creators have survived what Logan Paul survived, and even fewer have built something bigger on the other side of it. The internet had decided his story was over. He decided it wasn't, and then he went and wrote several more chapters that no one saw coming. Whether you respect the man or not, whether you think the comeback was earned or engineered, you have to sit with the fact that what he pulled off is genuinely rare. The most hated creator on YouTube in 2018. A boxer who drew over 1 million pay-per-view buyers, a WWE name who earned real respect in the industry, the co-founder of a beverage brand doing over $1 billion in annual sales. That is not a comeback. That is a complete reconstruction, and the internet, which had already written his ending, had to watch him rewrite it, one chapter at a time. Very few creators survive cancellation. Even fewer come back with something bigger. Logan Paul did something rarer than both of those things combined. He took the biggest mistake of his career and turned it into the starting point of an entirely new one. Whether you think he deserved that second chance, and that third one, and the ones after it, is a conversation worth having. But the fact that he got there, that part is undeniable. And in an internet culture where careers can end in a single upload, Logan Paul's story might be the most fascinating reinvention we've ever seen.